That's right, big girl. It's your turn now. Oh, look how happy she is! Queen Bess here up against the High Elves today. Let's have some fun taking a look at the new nerfed coast. Now bombers free mostly. I'm running Luther Harkon here. We've got a gunnery white, of course, on a crab to feed extra ammo to Big Bessie. We've got a front line of zombies with a few halberds in the back, some pistol mobs, some pistol gunnery mobs. We're up against Nagarites specifically. You know what that means. Shadow Walkers. Which are actually pretty decent. Oh no, these are Shadow Warriors here. Well, we do have some Shadow Walkers. Okay, so one Shadow Walker, two Shadow Warriors, a Lithanar, a whole bunch of Rangers, War Lions, a Firecaster. Yeah, all pretty good stuff. I've got Hounds going to be rushing in from the side, but Bessie is a bit of a fun pick. On a map like this, where you have a ridge, you could potentially fire up and over, you can get some good value, and you're less at risk of counter fire. One of the biggest downsides of Bessie is that she's a big girl. She's a big old target for something like Elf Bolt Throwers, which we've seen recently are very good in a counter fire role. Also does fire damage, which can have some weird interactions in this matchup, but you don't really see Dragon Princes too often here, so it should mostly be okay. So far, been taking pot shots at these Shadow Warriors and the Rangers as they advance. Nice little hornswaggle on those War Lions to debuff their speed, armor, melee defense, just not let them be as effective. The pistols have been skirmishing in the front line, now going to be doing a bit of a tactical retreat as the zombies come forward. We'll start to focus these Rangers down one by one. The taunt and the hornswaggle also going to be nice to use in melee to support the zombies against the Rangers, even though you may not think to use it against a lower value unit like Rangers. It definitely can help zombies trade pretty well there, but Luther is in a bad spot. He is just getting absolutely gatted by the Shadow Walkers and the Shadow Warriors. Lithnar consistently planking away at him as well, so it's not a great situation for the old buddy, but we did manage to decisively beat the Lions over on this side, although Ranger is now going to catch me. They did get drawn pretty far out of position. I'm probably going to forget about those units, so that's just fine. Here in the main line, though, nice little breath attack as Luther Harkon jumps down into the fight here. We go throw a quick invocation of Nehek to heal up him and Gunny, who is currently caught up and being cut up by a bunch of Lions and Reavers here. I'm doing my best to try and protect Queen Bess. One thing about zombie halberds and the zombie units in general for the Vampire Coast, you need to prepare your positioning kind of in advance, because you can see here I'm barely getting these zombies into the fight at the right time to protect Queen Bess here. We're going to throw a Dance Macabre on them, a little bit of extra speed up to 38 melee attack. They will hit those Illyrian Reavers pretty hard. You can see their health dropping rapidly. Here comes Harkon for a quick terror out as well, as he gets filled with all the arrows here. We'll get the zombies back on Bessie, get her back up and running. Oh man, brutal stuff from a Lithanar there. Got another taunt or a hornswaggle. Yeah, taunt here on these Rangers. And like I said, down to 0 melee defense, so the zombies can't actually make decent contact with them during that time. Here comes another Queen Bess shot. Where will it land? Oh man, square on the Shadow Walkers. Very expensive unit to be taking that damage. Don't have a whole lot of HP. And the kind of spread splash damage, very effective there. So far, Queen Bess has been able to be protected and generating some pretty good value, but the infantry fight's definitely a bit of a mixed bag. We're beating back some of these Rangers and Illyrian Reavers, but I've lost a lot of zombies in the process. Luther Harkon also just taking a savaging here from those arrows. Really has not got a chance to get in here and get set and really do any work at all. It's just been running around trying to not get killed, pretty much. But yeah, thankfully Queen Bess is all online. Also, Gunnery White just been holding up these Reavers here on the side for an eternity. Very nice to kind of just anchor this flank here, just be annoying. Meanwhile, like I said, gunnery mobs, pistols, going to be focusing down Rangers individually. Now turning our attention to this one. Pistols loaded. Powder is, I guess, wet. But here come the Lions. They're going to make some contact with the Rangers as well. Probably cut up that unit of pistols, but all the meanwhile, Queen Bess is just having time and ammo to fire away. The Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors also, they have done a lot of damage to Harkon, but a brutal hit right there on the Shadow Warriors. They have used up pretty much all of their ammo. I mean, Harkon's more or less dead now. I did manage to stabilize him with an invocation of Nehek there. He is going to be able to survive because, especially with this magic resistance that he has, since crumbling actually causes magic damage, he's taking, like 6 damage per second, maybe a little less, while also regenerating 4 HP per second, so really only taking about 2 damage per second from crumbling there. So he will be able to hang around for some time in this back line, which is nice for me. I need to stabilize leadership try and prevent any units from disintegrating. Like right now, I've got a couple of zombie mobs that are crumbling, not disintegrating. But this is some brutal overkill right here. These Shadow Walkers were already basically dead, getting gunned down by zombies, and now they're really, really dead. Harkon, you can see those also almost dead as he slowly takes his damage there. And now he goes. Poor Harkon. Not completely invincible, just mostly invincible. And even with him gone, the balance power is starting to turn in my favor. We've managed to see off the caster here with my caster, the crab girl. Good old captain doing her thing. Gunny has also finally extricated himself from that flank engagement and moving back to start feeding some more ammo to Queen Bess. You can see that more powder does replenish the ammunition, gets a few more volleys there, and look at that balance of power. As soon as the gunnery white gives a little bit of ammo there, it actually restores quite a bit of the balance of power for Queen Bess, so it actually bumps up my position quite favorably. We'll come in close for some cinematics as the Reavers make their final attempt to get in and shut down Queen Bess. The archers also finally firing at the crew directly, which they probably should have done a while back. May have been able to actually destroy Queen Bess herself, but point-blank barrels launched. Brutal hit on those Rangers. They do have physical resistance, which helps somewhat, but that big splash damage, especially the units that get impacted, they will take a horrendous amount of damage. Queen Bess, of course, does have a contact effect, which we haven't really talked about at all so far, but it's mostly just a speed debuff. Speed and charge speed, 72% though, it's pretty significant. It can be hard to hit fast-moving targets with it to really take advantage of that speed debuff, but it is certainly there, and it's nice. You can see, again, having to disengage Queen Bess. We kind of surround with these various tools here. Fleet Captain gets blasted by Moonbow and by a fireball there, but the taunt goes down. The Shadow Warriors now down to 0 melee defense again, and the zombies, polearms, can make some good hits on them. Archon's corpse, Queen Bess pulls over. Another shot up in the air. And some nice impact on those Rangers. Gonna be having a really bad time, and it looks like there's army losses. One more ammo fill on Queen Bess actually triggers army losses, so there you go. Very fun one with Katam there. We played a few battles I'm going to be showcasing, actually, but this one, it's interesting. You know, Queen Bess, it's not something you see all the time, and I wouldn't recommend it on every map, especially, like I said, if your opponent has the tools and the terrain to be able to counterfire you with, like, bolt throwers or cannons or anything like that. It's very easy to destroy the model of Queen Bess herself because she's such a thick lady. But in this situation, on this map, where I can, you know, expect most likely to not have to face too many bolt throwers, take advantage of that hill to fire up and over on that initial kind of engagement. Although, to be fair, the Shadow Walkers and Warriors did start up on top of the hill, generated some insane value shooting at Harkon. I mean, 2,000 damage value on the Shadow Walkers is very impressive. 3,000 damage value on a Lithanar, also very impressive. You can see as a result, Luther Harkon did not do anything. I mean, he got 10% of his value. I mean, I paid, well, not quite, a little more than 10%, but I paid, you know, 3,000 plus points for him in this particular kit, so pretty painful. But Gunny, on the other hand, didn't quite pay for himself, but he's reasonably cost-effective. Feeding some extra ammo also helps Bessie, who herself got 2,200 damage value. Excellent stuff there. Yeah, the doggos, they were okay. Could have done a little bit better with them if I'd microed them better, but the pistol mobs, man, the cheap ranged units are just so strong in terms of cost effectiveness. You'll see that pretty consistently with like Ungor Raiders, Skaven Slave Slingers, and the pistol gunnery mobs in particular I'm a fan of. Yeah, almost 700 damage value on one. All the other ones very much paying for themselves at only 300 points. And I guess one of them didn't, but pretty good stuff overall. The halberds also getting some pretty good value, one of them at least. I think Dance Macabre, actually, this is the one that got that. It managed to generate some extra value. The other zombies kind of getting run over, as you'd expect, although some of them doing okay. Yeah, Rangers getting a lot of kills, but low damage value, representing they just killed a lot of zombies. One of them did actually pay for themselves, though. Shadow Walkers and the Shadow Warriors were pretty decent. The Reavers had a bit of a tough time, as did the Lions. I don't totally hate the pick of the Lions here. They're actually very good against Hounds if you get the right engagement, but since I kind of got a 2-on-1 there, we were able to win out, at least in the one case. And then the other Lions, the low armor is a little bit of an issue here. Like, kind of everything in Katam's build had low armor, so everything was vulnerable to the pistols, which ended up being something that worked out quite well in my favor. So just to kind of finish up on Queen Bess, she is one of the most expensive kind of non-monster artillery pieces in the game. really the best direct comparison, since it's a single model kind of quote-unquote traditional artillery, is, whoops, for Warriors of Chaos, who are already up. We can switch back on over to the Vampire Coast. So for Queen Bess, she's pretty expensive. 1,600 points is not super cheap, but it's not ridiculously expensive. I mean, the Regiment of Renown Cannon comes in at 1,550, so it's only, 50 points short. And considering Queen Bess does an insanely, insanely higher amount of missile damage, just way, way more. Now, granted, it said so less on the tooltip, but the way this is spread out, I'm not 100% sure. This covers a lot bigger of an area of effect. And, yeah, 75 explosive damage. Let's see, 75 explosive AP damage. If we check over here, yeah, 90 explosive AP damage, but what's not represented is the area of effect size. So even though Bess says she does lower missile damage, like it has the potential to hit more targets at the same time. Although I believe the projectile itself for the Hell Cannon does 262, 72. I believe it actually does more if it hits you. Oh no, it's actually exactly the same. Interesting. 16.2 reload time, whereas this thing has a 8.4. Okay, so a lot of that difference in missile strength is probably coming down to the fact that, yeah, Soul Damnation, let's see, basically the same, a little bit more explosive damage, lower reload time. But, of course, the Hell Cannon crews can't refill ammo. They can't be healed at all, whereas the crew for Queen Bess can be healed. You can't heal Queen Bess herself because that's not how artillery models work, but slightly longer range and, more HP, way more HP as well, which is a big benefit. They're functionally unbreakable since they're undead. It's basically being unbreakable. But yeah, really the ability to heal and to feed ammo, in my eyes, makes Queen Bess not necessarily a superior pick, but just in some circumstances can generate more value. Yeah, both of these I would say are useful in scenarios where you might use mortar-type artillery, right? And that's on maps with interrupted line of sight, like MP Alpine Ridge is the one that we played on. That's a very common map used in tournaments, and you see it often in quick battle and so on. So that's one to kind of keep an eye on. There's a few others that you'll learn, potentially even something that's not necessarily dominated by a hill position, but like Toothgrass Hill, right? Where you have this big hill position on the one side. If I can find it way down here. Like you can kind of park Queen Bess on the reverse slope of this hill and then try and move up and like fight, defending on the top of the hill. That way, if they have direct line of fire artillery, they're going to have to maneuver all the way around the hill, or else, otherwise kind of bring themselves out of position. And there's a few maps where you can do things like that. Just something to keep an eye on and to be aware of, that you can really, these mortar-type artilleries really can shine in that circumstance. And yeah, that's basically it for today. We'll probably be talking more about different mortar-type artilleries going forward, but Coast is an interesting spot right now. I kind of need to go through and rethink a lot of the matchups for them because they've changed pretty significantly. But Queen Bess, always a fun pick in the right circumstance. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification every time I upload a new video. You'll be notified. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.